What would you do if the woman you loved, the one who swore eternal devotion, sat across from you, tears streaming down her face, begging for your trust, while her phone, hidden beneath the white linen tablecloth of a fancy restaurant, vibrated with messages from another man? That was my reality, a scene etched into my memory from a quiet Tuesday evening at the Golden Spoon in downtown Chicago, a place we used to celebrate anniversaries. Her eyes, usually so vibrant, were clouded with a performance of sorrow. Her hand reaching for mine, a desperate plea for a belief I was already losing. Each buzz of her phone, a silent, insidious betrayal, echoed louder than her feigned sobs, confirming the sickening truth I had been trying to deny for weeks. I watched her, my heart a lead weight in my chest, knowing that the life I thought we had was crumbling. And I was powerless to stop the next message from flashing across that hidden screen. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel. Tell us where you're from and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. The humiliation had been a slow burn starting months ago. It began subtly, with late nights she attributed to client dinners at her marketing firm on Michigan Avenue, or yoga retreats in Malibu, California, that felt more like excuses than actual events. I, a man who believed in the sanctity of our vows, dismissed the gnawing suspicion as paranoia. My wife Sarah had always been my rock, my confidant, the woman I built my entire world around. But the cracks started to show. Her once warm touch grew distant, her laughter less genuine, replaced by a brittle, almost forced cheerfulness. She'd spend hours on her phone, always turning away when I entered the room, her fingers flying across the screen with an urgency I'd never seen directed at me. One evening, I found a receipt for a boutique hotel, the Grand Vista in Dallas, Texas, tucked into her carry-on bag. It wasn't for a business trip I knew about. When I asked, she brushed it off. Oh, that's from a conference last year. Must have forgotten to throw it out, but the date on the receipt was from 2 weeks prior. My stomach churned, started checking her phone records, a violation of trust I never thought I'd commit. There were dozens of calls to an unknown number, always late at night, always when I was asleep. The number belonged to a Mark Jensen, a name I vaguely recognized as a new client she'd mentioned. Sarah became a master of manipulation. She'd gaslight me, turning my concerns into accusations of my own insecurity. "Why are you so paranoid, David? Don't you trust me?" she'd asked, her voice dripping with feigned hurt. She made me feel like the villain for simply asking questions. Mark, the affair partner, was a smug, arrogant type, judging by the few times I'd seen his name pop up on her phone. He'd send her flowers to her office, which she'd bring home, claiming they were from a grateful client. I saw the way he looked at her at a company event once, a possessive glint in his eyes that made my blood run cold. They felt untouchable, living in their own bubble of deceit, while I withered in plain sight. I remember one night, sitting alone in our living room in Los Angeles, the city lights twinkling outside our window like mocking stars. I felt utterly broken. The man who had once been so confident, so full of life, was a shell. The betrayal had hollowed me out, leaving an aching void where my love and trust for Sarah used to be. I cried that night, a silent, desperate grief for the future I thought we had. But as the tears dried, something shifted within me. The pain hardened into resolve, the grief into a cold, calculated fury. I wouldn't just leave, would dismantle her world, piece by agonizing piece. My revenge began quietly. I hired a private investigator, a discreet woman named Elena, who worked out of a small office in a nondescript building on Sunset Boulevard. She provided me with irrefutable proof: photos of Sarah and Mark entering and leaving a hotel in Santa Monica, detailed call logs, even copies of their illicit text messages filled with sickening endearments. I meticulously documented every lie, every stolen moment, every financial indiscretion. Sarah had been siphoning money from our joint account, claiming it was for business expenses, but the dates aligned perfectly with her clandestine rendezvous. Then I set my traps. I consulted with a sharp divorce attorney, Ms. Davies, whose office overlooked Central Park in New York City. She helped me understand the legal landscape, the nuances of California's community property laws, and how to leverage Sarah's infidelity to my advantage. I also started subtly spreading rumors within our social circle, planting seeds of doubt about Sarah's late nights and business trips. I made sure the right people, The ones who valued loyalty and integrity heard just enough to start questioning her. The public exposure happened at her company's annual gala, held at a lavish ballroom in the Waldorf Astoria. I arrived late, just as Sarah was about to accept an award for Outstanding Marketing Executive. The room was packed with her colleagues, clients, and our mutual friends. As she walked to the stage, I projected a slideshow onto the large screen behind her, ostensibly for a surprise tribute. The first few slides were innocuous photos of Sarah, but then the images shifted. Sarah and Mark, hand in hand, entering the Santa Monica Hotel. Text messages blown up for all to see, detailing their affair. A bank statement highlighting the diverted funds. The room fell silent, a collective gasp rippling through the crowd. Sarah froze on stage, her face draining of color, the award clattering to the floor. Mark, who was also present, tried to slink away, but too many eyes were on him. The fallout was immediate and catastrophic. Sarah lost her job, her reputation in tatters. Our friends, disgusted by her deceit, abandoned her. The divorce proceedings were brutal. With the overwhelming evidence I presented, the judge in the Los Angeles County Superior Court, a stern woman with no tolerance for perjury, awarded me the majority of our assets, leaving Sarah with almost nothing. She tried to fight, to spin narratives, but the truth, meticulously documented, was undeniable. She was legally and socially ruined, her arrogance replaced by a hollow despair. I saw her once, months later, walking alone down a desolate street in downtown Miami, a city she once loved for its vibrant energy. She looked small, defeated, a ghost of the woman she used to be. She didn't see me and I didn't approach. There was no triumph, no joy in her destruction, just a profound, chilling emptiness. The revenge was complete, but it had left its own scars. The silence that followed was the loudest sound I had ever heard. The end.